And then there were 10 undefeated teams left in the NFL after 2 weeks, and lots of college football upsets this week. We're going to dive into all of this. Episode 36 of the Single Barrel Sports Podcast. My name is Scott. Let's get into it. Pat McAfee said today, we got our guy.
How many sixth graders would it take to beat LeBron James in a game? Ready for the ultimate sleepers?
Shedeur Sanders went number 144 in the draft. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Episode 36, and we are live. We're recording with some special guests tonight. You may have seen them before, or it might be your first time, but we've got Zach and Jordan with us tonight here to talk football. Jordan, what's going on, man? How's life? And welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks for having me back, man. So good to be back. A lot of change for me since I was on. I have a new 6-week-old tomorrow. 6 weeks old little girl. So my life's been pretty crazy, pretty busy. But it's the best thing in the world. Best thing I've ever done by far. So she's doing really, really good. So I'm very, very fortunate. But I know you both all have kiddos, so you know the drill. But it's been a little bit of lacking sleep, but so much fun.
Yeah, well, I remember that very vividly. And one thing that really affected me with the newborn phase, I don't know, maybe you have felt this way or not, but I felt like my memory and my brain function was just like kind of shit for a while there. I didn't feel like I was functioning at 100%. I don't know. Have you noticed that, or was that just a me thing?
Well, I know, and I don't want to get into it too much, but I know you had a little rougher go with your son so far, and I don't want to brag or anything because I feel bad, but I've been very, very blessed that my baby has been extremely, extremely good in terms of even the average baby. So especially when I was on leave, the days just kind of run together. You're up you don't get straight hours of sleep at all. So I definitely feel you. I'm sure it wasn't anything to what you've experienced, but I totally know you're kind of all over the place and you're lacking sleep. But I won't act like I know what you're talking about. I'll be honest.
That's all right, man. Well, happy you're here tonight. Happy you're in high spirits and that things are going well. And congratulations again. I know obviously we've talked about this off camera, but super exciting. And it's actually kind of crazy to think it's already been 6 weeks, man. So that's super cool. And Zachy, welcome back, my friend. How are things with you? What's going on?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me back on. Less of an update than Jordan. Didn't have any new kids, but Zoe just turned 2, so we just had a birthday party. Time's flying, but I totally understand what you're saying with the your brain just feeling foggy after having the kids. Man, you're just in low power mode, it feels like, and you're just getting through the day, and it's kind of a slog. But having kids is so much fun, and yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, super pumped that you guys are both here. Like I said, it's gonna be a fun episode, jam-packed with football tonight, because that's where the news and the excitement is right now, and I think that's something we all like. One thing that's going on this week that I think we just talk about right now, Jordy, we got a showdown this week in fantasy football, don't we?
We do indeed. We've been fortunate enough to be the last undefeated teams in the fantasy league so far after 2 weeks. Everyone else has taken a loss with the median scoring, which we won't get into that. But but yeah, we're the top 2 teams right now. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. And hey, the prophecy was foretold. You said that you wanted 2025 to be your year, and you said this 2 years ago, and it certainly is looking good. And for those of you listening, if you've never played in a dynasty football league, you keep your same team year after year. You only draft rookies in the offseason. And so Jordan has made moves throughout his time, whether it's through drafting or trading, to try and position himself to be competitive this year. And so far, looking quite competitive. And Zachy, I know you took an L this week in our league, but you were voted the number 1 team in our league with the power rankings. So you're gonna bounce back. I know it's disheartening to have an off week, but this is 3 powerhouse teams right here hosting the podcast tonight, which is pretty cool. It's cool to be able to say that.
But yeah, Zach's. I was gonna say Zach's had a rough go so far in fantasy, but at least the Bears are killing it.
Dude, too soon.
Yeah, well, You know what? That's a fun thing to bring up here. So obviously Zach is a big Bears fan, and Jordy, I know you're a Jags fan. Obviously, you're wearing the hat tonight. How are you feeling about the Jags season so far?
Optimistic. They've probably underperformed the last couple of years, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the trade lots away for Travis Hunter. I'm actually not a big Travis Hunter person. So far, optimistic. We should have beat the Bengals this past week. If Brian Thomas could catch the ball once, maybe, and stop being afraid of it. But optimistic. I think if things go a certain way, we could definitely win the AFC South. That is in the realm of possibilities. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think there's a handful of divisions that are kind of in flux this year, and maybe we talk about some of that stuff a little bit later. But it looks like a different NFL so far this year. Got some new teams that are kind of being projected as maybe favorites for the Super Bowl, and new teams being projected for division winners. I'm looking at the 0-2 Chiefs over there. Maybe not going to be winning their division this year in a pretty stacked division. Even the Raiders seem okay until they played the Chargers. So yeah, I mean, who knows? We're going to get into this a little later, but who the hell knows what's going to happen this year in football? But before we get too deep into the sports talk, I just want to do a quick social plug like we always do. If you guys listen to this show, whether it's your first time or if you're returning, thank you if you are. We do have all of our social media active throughout the week, at least 1 to 2 posts every single day on all social media. Check us out at your favorite social media. You can find our links at singlebarrelsports.com. As long as you spell that correctly, you will find us. And we do have merch that's been recently released. So if you're interested in getting some swag, check that out as well. And any ways that you can support us, we'll appreciate it, whether it's a like or a subscribe on YouTube or a 5-star on Spotify. If you like the content, let us know. If there's things you don't like about it, let us know that too, because we are open to change. We are not too proud to modify the way that we do the podcast. So that's our plug. I will remove the plug and we will get back to sports now. And I want to start with something that is pretty controversial that happened this week. We always start the episode with what we call the sports term of the week. It's usually an ambiguous term that gets thrown around, but maybe isn't clear to a casual sports fan or someone who doesn't really watch a lot of that particular sport. And in this game, we had a game-changing, altering penalty that decided the outcome of one of our very close football games this weekend, and it was called a leverage penalty. Now, I think you two probably have an understanding of what this penalty means, but have you ever heard of this penalty being called, where the ref is like, penalty on the defense, leverage?
I personally, I don't know that I have, especially in that high level situation where it's literally like a kick to win the game and then it gets called. And then, obviously he misses the first one. They get 15 yards and then it's like basically a chip shot. I mean, 45 yards still at that point. So not a chip shot, but for an NFL kicker, that's a pretty high percent chance. I'm sure it's happened. I can't recall it though.
I think the closest thing I can remember is not this specific penalty called leverage, but more of whenever the long snapper just gets blown up and you're like, that's a penalty. Like, I get it. His head's down, he's long snapping it, and he just gets destroyed, and then that's a penalty. You're like, yeah, I get it. I've seen that, multiple times. I don't think I remember ever seeing this called personally in a game that I've watched that I can remember.
Yeah. So I thought it would be a perfect sports term of the week for the same reason. I was familiar with the rule. I just had never seen or at least heard them say the word leverage before. And I was scrolling through social media as I frantically do on Sundays and trying to keep up with all the games and seeing this very close game between the Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts and looking like the Broncos were going to win. It was like 2 seconds left and the Colts had to kick a 60-yard field goal. And then I see a report that after leverage occurs, Colts kick it and win the game. So the Colts ended up getting a penalty, like Zach said. They missed the original kick, got this penalty call, and then made the second one to win the game. And so basically just to give kind of after all this long-windedness, to say what leverage is. And at its core, leverage penalty is when a defensive player uses another player to give themselves either extra height or some momentum to try and block a field goal or a punt. And so in this case, if I recall, I don't have the video handy, but I think it was the guy right in the center of the line. And I think he pushed down either on the head or the shoulder pads of the offensive lineman in front of him to get himself higher up to try and block this kick. And That is a penalty. Now, in this case, it was a back-breaking penalty. They literally went from winning the game to losing the game. And so brutal call there. It's hard to it's hard to swallow something like that happening, but they do go on to give examples of what a leverage penalty would be. It's jumping on a teammate's back to leap higher, or using hands or shoulders to push off of a teammate or opponent to elevate, running and jumping over the line while landing on players, creating danger. So it did certainly happen. If you watch the clip, the guy certainly did do this. It was a penalty.
What about using your own team's leverage to put your quarterback into the end zone? Oh, that's legal. Sorry, my bad. That's my bad. My bad.
Yeah. Hold that thought. I do actually want to talk about that after we get through this. I do. That's a really good thing to bring up.
Ironic.
I'm happy.
So I
Yeah, it
think
doesn't make
that
any
leverage-
sense.
with that leverage penalty. If I remember correctly, as a Bears fan last year, I think there was an end of game situation against the Packers where the Bears were kicking a field goal for a potential win, and it got blocked. So the Bears lost the game. And then like after the game, the Bears like petitioned the league saying it was like it should have been a leverage penalty, which the league came back and said it wasn't a leverage penalty. And also the Bears just couldn't win the game like a normal team and like actually be a good football team and win. But that's the only time that I could think of that I can actually recall a situation where it wasn't called during the game, but they tried to petition saying it was a leverage call.
Yeah.
And I was going to say
Go ahead.
real quick, I'd like to look either at that player or even just all the teams and go back and just look at all the field goals and see, like, was this one like more egregious than like all of the things going on throughout like last year? Because it seems like one of those things where holding is like on every play. You know,
Right.
you just got to get caught. It's like, was this egregious, or is this type of thing happening on like a lot of kicks that it's just like whatever and it doesn't get called? I'm curious at least, but I don't know.
That was my question too. Like, no one's putting a microscope over the lineman on a kick, right? So how often does this happen? And also, like, the guy, okay, this is for safety, so I get it. I get why it was called, but the guy didn't even come close to making contact with the ball. Like, the penalty had no effect on the kick. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's my take on it. I get the intent, but it is a 15-yard automatic first down penalty. It did decide the outcome of this game. And I'm sure a lot of teams will learn from that and be a little smarter. And in fact, Sean Payton has taken full credit for the mistake. He said that he called an interior field goal block, and he shouldn't call that on a 60-yard field goal. And yeah, I guess they'll learn from that. But I found that interesting. I looked this up, and it sounds like this rule went into effect in 2009. So it's actually, I thought this was more recent of a change, but this has been out for like 16 years apparently, and you just never hear of it actually being called. So back-breaking, like I said. I mean, horrible take for the Broncos to lose that way in what was otherwise a very competitive game. But yeah, I think the Broncos will be okay, and the Colts are 2-0 now, which is, I don't know if that was on anybody's bingo card, but they look pretty good. Okay, now we'll go into what we call the weekly recap. But what I want to talk about is we're going to start with the tush push, because you brought it up, Jordan, and it was on my mind too. And I will say, I'm going to go on record, because on the podcast, we talked about this when they did the rules vote back in March. And I said this then, if they were the only team that did it, then like maybe we could make a rule change. Or if everyone that did it succeeded every single time, then maybe we can make a rule change. But back then I said, but they're the only ones who do it successfully every time. However, after watching the game this weekend, there are just so many things that you can't really account for when there's a pile of 20 dudes on top of each other and the quarterback is just somewhere underneath. And I don't remember which announcer it was, but they went to the rules expert, because at the end of the game in that Eagles and Chiefs game, the Chiefs came out of the pile with the football saying they recovered a fumble, and the refs were just like, well, I don't know. Like, no, that was just a first down. And the rules analyst was like, yeah, I'm tired of this tush push. You don't know where the ball actually landed. You don't know if it's a first down or not. You don't know if there's a fumble or not, because you literally can't see anything. And so if for no other reason than that, like, yeah, maybe this does create a layer of ambiguity and high pressure situations that we maybe shouldn't have happening in our games. But I'm curious to hear, because Jordan, you brought it up. So let's start with you, because it's damn sure a leverage play. You're shoving people directly into other people with their heads down. They might be lining up even offsides with their head forward. Like there's a lot of layers to this. The center is almost always offsides when the Eagles do it. So since you brought it up, I'm gonna give you the floor and then we'll hear from Zachy.
Yeah, I have it. I could talk about it a lot, but I think the most compelling argument that I could make is not about the rule and should you change it. Well, I guess that is kind of the argument, but it used to be a rule. There used to be an aiding the runner rule. And from what I know from discussing this with other people is the reason that got nixed was because it was difficult to officiate. So they're like, we don't really know, is it not? So they kind of just got rid of it, right? So then you can just do it. So it used to be a rule. They got rid of it. Now, we're abusing the rule. The best thing I can say about it is I liken it to the shift in baseball, because the shift was something no one ever did, but it was never illegal. Like you could put anyone anywhere. But when like analytics came around, it was so good that it actually damaged the viewing product of baseball so much that they did take it away, and you have to have your shortstop and your second baseman on either side of the bag. And they still do a modified shift where they'll put the shortstop pretty much behind second base for lefties, blah, blah, blah. But I think that was a good thing. I think the product of baseball, the viewing product for the viewer, who is the people you're making, it's entertainment at the end of the day, it damaged the product. I think this damages the product. It has nothing to do with fairness or, take it away because they do it well. I think it's terrible to watch. I don't think it's entertaining. They're good at it, and it is like an 80 to 90% success rate. If it's third and short, they're going to go both times and they're going to score. It's boring. Here's the thing. If every team was good at it, how boring would that be? Like if everyone was as good as the Eagles, it would be every short down situation, there'd be no drama. It'd be so boring. So that's my best case of why I think we should get rid of it.
Not to mention that you lose out on the excitement of big stops on third and short. And like you said, if everyone's doing that all the time, then it's just like, what are we doing here? Why are we watching this? So, Zachy, what is your take on it?
So Jordan was talking about more of like the entertainment aspect, and so from that perspective, like I can get behind what he's saying. From like a taking it away or rule book perspective, I 100% think you can't take it away. Just do it and be better at it. If you got a quarterback that can squat 600 pounds and a running back that can squat 600 pounds, then do it and get your first downs and your touchdowns. And I don't know, like that's my take on it. As far as like from a should they ban it standpoint, I would say absolutely not. If other teams can do it, do it.
But my question is, how would you then differentiate why is leverage a rule and tush push is not? Because in both cases, you're using another player's leverage to gain an advantage in the game. So if you're going to have one, I'm just asking, like, if you're going to have one, and the whole reason is because of, they say it's safety, but it's a competitive advantage to gain leverage, to gain advantage, to be more advantageous in your position in the game. It just seems so at odds that you could have both rules at the same time.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'll accept that. Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're exactly right. It's the same exact thing, but just on a different style of a play. So, like, why does the style of play matter?
What if you could?
In
What
my
if, like,
opinion.
I was gonna say real quick. What if this according to the rules? What if they had like two mega fullbacks and they had Christian McCaffrey line up, and then the fullbacks slingshotted him over the line, and like he wore like no cleats on this play, and so it wouldn't hurt their legs, and he ran and jumped off of their knees and catapulted himself over everyone into the end zone. Well, is that allowed? What? I'm following the logic to its conclusion.
It's actually hilarious to ask that, because I saw a post on Twitter this week, and it was basically like, what if we had like a 4-foot tall running back that we just direct snapped the ball to, and then we put like two defensive ends, like imagine like Myles Garrett and Micah Parson in the backfield, and they just pick him up and throw him over the line. So like literally exactly what you said it's circulating throughout Twitter, and people are just like, this is the most genius play. They even said on there like, yeah, just sign them for a day, pay them $100K, because if you launch them over the line, they might just like break a leg when they land, but like you get a touchdown, they get $100K. So
according to the rules, you could do that, but you couldn't like lift your own buddy up to block a field goal. That's illegal. Can't do that. But you could push your guy in the end zone.
It's actually crazy to think that you can like just shove a bunch of dudes directly onto one person and completely pile and push, but you can't, like you said, like just lift up someone who's jumping to give them a little height? Like, what are we doing?
To be clear, I don't blame. Sorry, Zachy, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I agree. The hypocrisy of those rules doesn't make sense. My I guess viewpoint was strictly looking at like from the tush push play. Then I mean I guess I'm just looking at it like basically if there's one team that's really good at it, then why can't the other teams do it? And if they can, then do it. Otherwise, like if you're trying to line up the rules to be like, why is this rule allowed and this isn't allowed? That's a whole different discussion, in my opinion. But
Yep, fair. Yeah, and I think my take changed entirely watching the game this weekend because I was always pro tush push. I don't think it's fun. I think it's boring. But why take something away when one team does it the best? But then when the Chiefs came out of that pile with the football, and the refs were just kind of like, well, I don't know. Like, how the hell would I know if there was a fumble? You literally can't see shit. So how do you actually enforce any rules and make any calls? Because there's, like I said, 20 dudes piled on top of each other. So
it's crazy hard to officiate.
yeah, I think that became for me the biggest argument against it in that moment, and now I kind of am against it, even though before I was kind of for it. So yeah, it's a messy situation. Any final thoughts before we move on?
Not particularly, other than just to push the point home that I do think that it's going to be better for the league if we just get rid of it, even if it might not be the fairest thing for the Eagles.
I think there's a camp that would agree with you there for sure. A pretty big camp. Cool. Well, let's dive into some other topics here. As part of our recap, we usually kind of highlight some of the big events that have happened in the previous week. And I know, Zachy, I know you watch college football a bit. And Jordan, do you watch much college football? I'm actually not sure about that.
I have no loyalties, so it's hard for me to invest. I like to watch big ranked games. So obviously I was watching Ohio State, Texas, those ones, but I haven't been following up super deep dive. No.
Okay, no problem. Well, I'm just going to dive through a couple of big things that happened this week. First one was Georgia Tech upsetting Clemson and actually making Clemson 1-2. So they've been ranked all year. They came into the season number 4, and they have 2 losses in 3 weeks now. So not a great start. I know they had their head coach had kind of a fiery press conference talking about winning the conference championship 8 out of 10 years, and if they don't want him there, then he'll just go win somewhere else. So it was pretty interesting when he got questioned about their lack of success this year that he kind of popped off a bit. But any thoughts about that? You know, Georgia Tech is now a ranked team after that, but they weren't coming into this week.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't have like a ton of thoughts on it. I think Clemson will be still fine this year. Like they're not Clemson of some years in the past, but like they're still going to be a very competitive team. They're going to be a bold team. I don't know. You know, it's a big win for Georgia Tech. Bigger win for Georgia Tech, in my opinion, than like loss for Clemson. That might be kind of a hot take, but Clemson's still going to be good.
Yeah, I will say week 2 when they won, that was their one win. They were getting their ass whooped by Troy for a while too. So they did end up coming back and winning that game, but just kind of an interesting team so far. When they lost to LSU, I didn't think anything of it, but yeah, the game with Troy kind of opened my eyes, and then they lost to Georgia Tech. So, I don't think they're going to win their conference this year, but like you said, they might still get a bowl game at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think, and we may have talked about it on here. I can't quite remember if it was something we discussed previously about just like how the money was going to change college football with the NIL stuff. But that doesn't really explain Clemson, because I think they've got a pretty big war chest. I mean, maybe not Texas, Ohio State level, but they should still have a pretty big war chest. So that wouldn't really explain it. Like Georgia Tech shouldn't have more money than them, but the NIL stuff has just really rattled up and shaken everything up in terms of if you have a coach that just people want to go play for him. If the money's not there, then they won't. So I don't know if that's the case with Dabo. If people are just following the money and that changed anything, but I don't know enough about that. But
Yeah, actually, I saw Nick Saban talking about that a little bit I think it was on game day this week, where he used to say, yeah, people back in the day, people wanted to go to the South and play football with these big time programs and these big time coaches, but now the money talks, and it has changed the sport. I mean, the Big Ten, I think, is the dominant conference in football now. And 5 years ago, no one would have batted an eye at any other conference other than the SEC. So money does change things. And I think there were a couple of good teams in the Big Ten that kind of made that become kind of the front running conference once the money got added to it. So Big game of the it was the game day game of the week this past week was Georgia going to Knoxville and taking on Tennessee. And I think that Georgia had won 8 straight coming into this, and there was a lot of division. Plenty of people were choosing the Volunteers to win this game. Ended up being kind of another heartbreaker for a program. You had to really feel for Tennessee. They ended up losing in overtime, 44-41. Did either of you watch this game?
Not live.
I caught it when I'm pretty sure Tennessee was up at one point by a good amount. Is that right?
Yeah, I think they don't quote me on this. I think they had like either a 10 or a 14-point lead at one point. And
Yeah.
there was this point at the end of the game. It was like 2.5 minutes left, and there was a 4th down play. Georgia went for it. And balls of steel, man. Their quarterback threw a 28-yard fade in the back of the end zone. It was a perfect pass and a perfect catch. They didn't just go for a first down. They just went for the game. And perfect pass, perfect sliding catch in the back of the end zone. Then they got a 2-point conversion to tie it. And so that's what tied it up with just 2.5 minutes left. But Tennessee then came down, got themselves into field goal position, missed a 43-yard field goal, which is why it went to overtime. So as a program who's lost 8 straight, they had it right there, and they missed the kick. And then in overtime, Tennessee kicked a field goal, and then Georgia came and got a touchdown, and that was wraps. Georgia ended up winning 44-41.
Brutal. That's brutal.
I have been saying all season, it's been 3 weeks of college football. I've been saying that Georgia's my team to win the national championship, so I was happy because it gives that a lot of life still. Tennessee's a good team, two decently ranked teams there, but it definitely showed that this Tennessee team is for real, and had to feel for the fans, especially with them being the home team. Having it slip through their fingers like that, and now have lost 9 in a row is unfortunate for them for sure.
Yeah, it's a big oof. That makes sense for why my boss, who's a diehard Tennessee fan, he played college baseball at Tennessee, hadn't talked about it at all this week because I turned it on for a few seconds, but I was busy over the weekend, and I saw Tennessee was up, and I was like, oh, he'll be in a good mood. That makes a lot of sense actually this week.
Yeah, just a brutal ending. It's one of those things too, where it's like, okay, well, things didn't go our way in regulation, we screwed up, but now we're in OT, and then it just didn't get better. Then they still lost there. So,
Yikes.
one other game I wanted to highlight. We talked a bit about this last week with Deeb, but Miami crushed South Florida. South Florida's been a team that's been rattling some feathers. They came out and dominated a ranked Boise State team week 1, and then they went to Florida and beat Florida at home. Ranked in week 2, another highly ranked team. I think Florida was definitely a top 10 team. I can't remember if they were 6 or what rank they were. And so it was 3 weeks in a row. Then they went and played Miami, and in Miami. And this was the week where they got brought back down to reality, and Miami beat the hell out of them 49-12. And I don't know if this shows that South Florida, while competitive, just isn't that team, or if it shows that Miami really is that team, because Miami's had a great season so far. I think they beat Notre Dame. They've beaten a couple of pretty good teams. And so we'll see. I mean, another big game this week. We'll talk about this later, but Miami is now playing against Florida this week. And that's the game of the week for College game day. So, yeah, a lot of things happening, and all the Florida schools are kind of battling down there right now. But I think that was it. Did you guys want to highlight anything else in college before we move us forward to NFL?
I don't think so.
I'm good.
Cool. Obviously, there's a shitload of games every week. My Wolverines from Michigan won big, but they played Central Michigan. I will shout out, I taught there once. I did a guest lecture at Central Michigan. So that just kind of a random fact. But anyway, let's dive into the NFL.
Sir.
Big things, huge things happen this week, and there's more things that have happened than probably what we'll be able to talk about today. But let's start with, it was Thursday night, I think, was Packers and Washington. And my gosh, I mean, people were high on the Packers after week 1, beating the Lions, talking about, maybe this is the Super Bowl team now. And they look pretty damn dominant again, taking down the Commanders. What are your guys' thoughts on that game and the Packers in general? Zach, you can go first.
Man, it kills me to say it. It just kills me to say it. Absolutely a Super Bowl contender is the Green Bay Packers. I think it really comes down to, can Jordan Love be that guy that can win a Super Bowl? Like, can Jordan Love win a Super Bowl when it comes to like playoff time, because that defense was already very good. And then you add Micah Parsons, who's like not even playing every snap, but he's just a monster every time he's in the game. The team is very, very, very good. Wins the NFC North in a very tough division, in my opinion. I think they win it probably pretty easily. Absolutely a Super Bowl contender.
You know, it's funny that you bring up Micah Parsons, and Jordan, I'm going to get to you, I promise. But I saw some pretty crazy statistics. You know, the internet is a great source of all kinds of randomness. But I saw recently this week that both Bart Starr and Brett Favre won a Super Bowl at age 27 for the Packers. And Jordan Love turns 27 in November of this year.
And Aaron Rodgers.
And Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
Yes.
So 3 big quarterbacks won Super Bowls at 27. And then it was also, I don't remember the defensive players' names, but apparently Favre and Rodgers, the year that they turned 27, got a big defensive addition to the team. So it's like just like how Micah Parsons joined the team this year. So the stars are aligning in a lot of random ways.
I'll make it for.
But yeah, it's just like you seeing all this stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, well, spiritually, this team seems like a Super Bowl team also. But Jordan, what is your take on the Packers?
Hard not to like them in terms of what they have going on. They already had a pretty decent defense. I'd say a top 10 defense before Parsons. Maybe not like top 5, but like at least top 10. I would think pretty solid defense. I think they added Xavier McKinney from the Giants. I think was it one in their secondary. Sorry, my computer's acting weird. So sorry, the blue light. And so there's like no glaring weakness that I can see personally. Josh Jacobs is good. Jordan Love is poised and getting better. You add Micah Parsons to an already pretty good defense, and then just the first 2 weeks, like they just look good. No weaknesses really that are glaring, and so I'm sure they're going to have some down weeks. But so far, other than how easy the Eagles win, they're up there, man, with the Ravens and the Bills and the Eagles and then Packers. It's like those 4 teams seem to me to be at the top of the heap.
What are your thoughts? Let's just talk about their wide receiver room. And there's always been issues with their wide receiver room for years, but you got Jalen Reed going down with a shoulder injury. People were thinking broken collarbone. I think I saw it was actually like an ACL sprain. I'm actually not 100% sure.
Or AC joint sprain, probably.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, not ACL. What am I talking about? So yeah, we're looking at a shoulder injury with Jalen Reed. Golden isn't really looked yet how people thought he might look. Now he's a rookie that's only played 2 games, but is there cause for concern there, or does that not matter because they've got plenty of decent, good enough weapons there?
I can go first this one, or do you want? I actually don't think it matters that much. I like a lot of their receivers. It's always a question of which one's going to be the alpha, but one game it could be Jaden Reed when he's healthy. They just added Matthew Golden as a first-round receiver, so you know he's going to be involved. Romeo Doubs has always looked pretty good. And then you've got even Wicks has looked good at times. And then you have Tucker Kraft looks like one of the best pass-catching tight ends in the league. So I'm not worried at all. The Chiefs did it for years after Tyreek left, where they just made it work, and you didn't want to play any of those receivers in fantasy because you didn't know who it was going to be. But if the offense is humming and people are contributing, it doesn't have to be like one alpha guy necessarily, in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I agree basically with what Jordan said. From like a fantasy football perspective, I'm not necessarily dying to have any of the wide receivers in that as an elite option, because they're going to spread the ball around and you don't know which one is going to be getting it. But that's also like a sign of a good football team if you're getting the ball to a bunch of different guys, and it's hard to contain if you have a lot of different options. So, for like in real life football, I have no concerns over their wide receiver room. And a guy that wasn't even mentioned is Christian Watson, who, I mean, granted, has had a ton of injuries, but he is like a physical athlete freak. So it's just like, if he can have any value at all, I mean, they're already a pretty solid room, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that it seems like they just have an entire roster of wide receiver 2s, you know? Like, they might not have found their wide receiver 1, but they don't have any 3s or 4s. Like, all of them are like wide receiver 2s on that team. Yeah. And I think you guys mentioned fantasy, and I agree. The only people in fantasy I want on that offense are Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, and Tucker Kraft, and let's not do anybody else for now.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch gears here. Bengals this week. They did win barely for the second week in a row. So they started out 2-0, even though they had two kind of very close and borderline ugly games here. Jordan, I know it sucks for you. They edged out the Jaguars barely, and like you said, again, the Jags probably should have won. But the big story here is the loss that they had in that win. Joe Burrow left the game. There were some questions on whether or not he needed surgery. Turns out he will, and he's going to be out for they're anticipating at least 3 months. So, what does this team look like now with Browning at quarterback? They still have a hell of a great offense, but obviously defensive woes over time. What do you guys think this injury does to this team? Jordan, you can go first.
I think they're done as a serious Super Bowl contender if they were at all, even 2-0. It's like the ugliest 2-0 I've ever seen. Up there with the Cardinals this year already. Just ugly. Ugly, ugly 2-0. Jake Browning is not going to be Nick Foles. The rest of their team, their defense is terrible. Their offensive line is terrible. This team is doomed for the season, in my opinion, without Joe Burrow. And I saw on just something I was listening to that this grade of turf toe that needed surgery, no player has ever come back and played the same season. Now, yeah, that's what I heard from like someone who's like a medical like a person within fantasy or sports person that they were consulting. But also that might not have been quarterback, because quarterback, I feel like from an athletic perspective, you could make do if you're a little bit gimpy in terms of your foot. If you could make it work, you could possibly come back. Whereas other players, if you're sprinting around the field, you couldn't play, obviously. So it could be a little bit different. But if Burrow is out for the year, they're done. I mean, even with him, they might be done. They couldn't protect him. Their line is that bad.
Yep.
So
It's an interesting thing, too. If you look, there's been a lot of parallels drawn. When you talk about the offensive line, there's been a lot of parallels drawn with his career and Andrew Luck's career and how often they've been sacked because they both were drafted into teams that didn't have great offensive lines and tried to focus more on offensive weapons. And if you look at it, I'm just looking at a stat right now. In their first 71 games, Luck was sacked 157 times, which was like a ton. That was a big deal. Burrow through 71 games has been sacked 201 times. So literally like 44 more times than the same number of games. So yeah, they got an elite guy at quarterback. They've got elite offensive weapons, and they're doing nothing to protect them. So Zach, I'm going to give you your time, but I just wanted to make that kind of comment about the offensive line there.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're good. I'll take it a step further than Jordan, and I don't think they were ever a legitimate Super Bowl contender with Joe Burrow all season long. And it has nothing to do with the offense. I think the offense is elite. They don't have a full football team, like a good enough all-around football team to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion, like injury or no. But my take now is, depending on how long Joe Burrow is out, this may not, be a playoff team. Yeah, I don't know if this team makes the playoffs with Jake Browning at quarterback, especially if, like you said, Joe Burrow doesn't play this year. If Joe Burrow doesn't play another game this year, I would go as far as to say this will not be a playoff team.
I don't know that they would have been anyway. You got to think about it. I mean, there's a division that has the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Chargers in it. So
Yeah.
arguably two of those teams are going to take wild card spots. You think that the Bengals would get the last one? I mean, I don't know that they would. Like obviously I think we would all agree that the Ravens should win this division. So that the Bengals would be looking at a wild card spot at best, and I don't know that one would even be there for them with Joe Burrow on the team. Which is kind of crazy to say after 2-0 start, but like you said, it was an ugly 2-0 start. So
they should have lost the Browns game too. The Brown week 1 and 2 they should have lost.
Yep. And the Browns looked like ass against the Ravens. They kept it close for a little bit, but then they got smoked. So yeah. Let's go on to another game that wasn't close, and I'm sorry to do this to you, Zach, but I do want to bring this up. I just want to say the Lions bounced back, which tells me that the Packers are for real and that the Lions didn't fall off a cliff. They looked just fine, and they beat their former, offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, who's coaching the Bears now. And I'm not going to go too into the weeds here, but what a hell of an offensive performance for them. They put up a lot of points, and you can, if you want to comment on that, you can, or we can just move forward.
Yeah, I'm not going to hurt my feelings. If you're a Bears fan for life, you get used to a lot of off-season hype. This is our year. This is our coach. This is everything. And then, up to this point hasn't worked out, so we'll see. I am not I'm not throwing the cards in on like Ben Johnson. I would like to see more from Caleb Williams. They've done a lot to set him up for success, so we need to see some production on all that. But it's two very tough opponents, in my opinion, with Minnesota and Detroit to kick off the year. We'll see where things go. I mean, if you put Chicago in the division where Jacksonville is with the Colts, I mean, I'm not, I'm not like crapping on Jacksonville either. I'm just saying, like,
Screw you, Zachy.
no, like, just the difference in the divisions is it's definitely endurable.
Yeah, they get to play the Jags and the Titans twice a year each instead of you know, Bills, Packers, or not Bills, Vikings, Packers, Lions twice a year each.
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't look good from what I saw. We had a birthday party going on. I had the game on, but obviously I was pretty invested in doing other things. But every time I looked up, the score was worse, and it was just like, well, we suck again. So,
And there were memes, and you showed us one of them.
yeah.
All right, and last game, since you said this is our a couple of times there, I gotta say this is our Colts. No, I'm not gonna sing the song.
Oh no.
We already talked about that. Culture 2-0. I did say a few episodes ago with Deeb that I could see the Colts being a kind of a shock team to win that division. And if it's the Texans is the fourth team there, right? And if they don't step up soon, the Colts could easily take that division. I mean, they're the Titans and the Jags are kind of average competition, and the Texans don't look like they've got an offense at all. They've got a defense. So if the Colts play like they've been playing, they could be a division winner this year, which if you looked at them last year would be very hard to believe. But here we are. They're 2-0 and looking pretty strong.
Yeah. Craziest stat, which I think has never happened, or if it hasn't happened in a long time. They haven't punted yet.
Really?
The Colts have not punted yet.
Wow.
You can double check me, but I'm pretty sure they've not punted.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
I think that like hasn't happened in like through the first two games in like a long time. But I don't think that they've punted. You can double check me. But I knew the first week one they definitely didn't, because they scored on 7 straight drives in the first game. I don't think they punted today either, or this past week, which I think is like a record. So it's hard to be that kind of a flukiness. And I think I told you, I think it was on this podcast when we talked about it, is Daniel Jones has shown at some point in the past in the right situation to have high production. And Shane Steichen's supposed to be kind of like a guru, a quarterback guy, right? And clearly he beat out Richardson. And I mean, they're just, if you have the right scheme and you know what you're doing, you can out scheme. And if you have a guy that can just operate what you have as a good scheme, then you're going to have success. And clearly they've got it down so far, at least.
Yeah. I mean, they do have talent on that team, and it's been kind of a mystery that they were so bad historically. So, yeah, I fact checked you just because you told me I should, and you are correct. They have not punted the ball a single time through 2 games.
Wild.
Insane.
I don't think it's ever happened, or at least not to start the season or something like that. But
I'm gonna do a rapid fire through some fantasy football stats because I think this is important. Obviously, Malik Nabers didn't do a lot week 1 compared to his hype. But week 2, 9 receptions, 162 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, holy shit. If you had him on your fantasy team, congratulations on your victory. I know our guy, the guy who had like the second lowest points in our league, just had the most points this week. he had Nabers on the team. Another guy who was quiet and actually had some doubters this year. I don't know if you guys saw this, but people thought Amon-Ra St. Brown might be kind of on a decline. Week 2, 9 receptions, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns. Talk about an insane week in fantasy football. Big one here, rookie tight end Tyler Warren. A lot of people had a lot of high expectations for him, wondered when it might take off. Well, I will tell you, he's the only tight end in the entire league who has 75-plus receiving yards both games. So, you want to talk about
dog.
consistency? Yeah, I mean, and he's getting targets, man. I mean, if you're in a tight end premium with that extra PPR, this guy's getting the looks. So,
can I pause real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Again, Zachy earmuffs. It is a little bit strange that the Bears took Loveland 10th overall and then proceed to have like 1 target or maybe -1 targets in a game to Loveland, and then Tyler Warren is just balling out, and they use the 13th pick, and they're actually using their first round pick in a way that makes sense with that much draft capital. Crazy.
Yeah.
Hey.
And I like Loveland.
preaching to the choir. Yeah, I like Loveman too.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that at all. One other stat that I thought was crazy, it's worth highlighting. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Dylan Gabriel has 1 passing touchdown this year, and Jalen Hurts has 0.
Why pass the ball?
Obviously, Jalen Hurts, I think he has just. Yep, he's got plenty of rushing touchdowns. However, Dylan Gabriel, backup quarterback, has 3 pass attempts and has a touchdown. So that just begs the question too, like what the hell is going on in Cleveland, and when do they turn the reins over because it's a lost season? Because if you're developing rookies, how long do you let, ancient years old Joe Flacco keep running the show there when you have multiple rookies on your team that could maybe get some experience out of that? So I don't know if you guys have thoughts on that. What would you do? Let's say you're GM, your head coach in Cleveland. What are your thoughts on their quarterback messy situation there?
Go ahead, Zachy.
I think 2 weeks is definitely fine to keep playing Joe Flacco. And honestly, they should have won their first game of the year. So I would say like around week 4 or so, if you're looking at 0-4, if you're staring 0-4 in the face, the season's done at that point. Like you're not making the playoffs or anything. So, in my opinion, if you're looking at 0-4, you're making a quarterback change and you let Dylan Gabriel have a shot at starting some games. That's my opinion.
And I'm assuming, I didn't watch the game, I'm assuming he got his touches in garbage time, right? Like he only had 3 passes. They
I
lost by
didn't see it either. But
20-something points. Yeah. Jordy, what are your thoughts?
As far as the Browns go, I think that oftentimes these aging veterans are used as just as placeholders because you don't want to throw your rookies to the slaughter. Like, if you throw the rookies out there and you have no confidence that they can actually succeed, then you're just damaging them. We've seen it over and over again, throwing rookies too soon. So, hell, leave the veteran out there while your team sucks. Don't destroy your rookie if you don't think he's going to be successful at all. So I would leave Flacco out there until you are confident that your rookie is for sure a better option. And a little thought experiment that I just thought of when you were talking about it is, would you take the Eagles versus the Panthers, but the Eagles aren't allowed to throw passes? Who would you take? Just straight up, who would win the game?
I would take the Eagles. Yeah.
I think I would take the Eagles as well. If they can't throw passes, you would still take the Eagles, and that's just
still the Eagles
bonkers
too. So.
Exactly, that's bonkers.
Know that they can't throw passes.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you'd think that they could exactly that line doesn't matter. Also, I was gonna say we need to put some respect on who has the most yards off the cuff. Who has the quarterback that has the highest receiving or passing yards this so far? Number 1, most passing yards. Russell Wilson. Put some respect on Russell Wilson.
I shit on Russell Wilson last week on this podcast. I shit all over him. And then he came out and threw 450 yards in week 2. Yeah. So
it's so funny.
All right, I'm going to give you guys just some rapid, quick stats here, and we're going to have a quick message about fantasy football, and that is QB2 so far through 2 weeks, Daniel Jones, RB2 through 2 weeks, Javonte Williams, wide receiver 4, Quentin Johnston, tight end 3, Juwan Johnson. And the moral of this story is we still don't know shit. We can make all the predictions we want. We can watch all the analysts. We can do all the studying of the stats and the analysis. At the end of the game, it's 22 people on a field playing a game, and you never really know what's going to happen. And so I think it's just it's a nice reminder that all the preparation in the world doesn't mean that fantasy football is won because of strategy. There's still some element of luck and randomness. And because of that, question for you guys. In fantasy football, if you had a guy week 1 start somebody like Quentin Johnston or Javonte Williams or even Juwan Johnson, are they smart or are they insane?
I mean,
go ahead, Zachy.
I wholeheartedly say insane. I mean, week 1 especially, like week 2, by all means, like, yeah, they had a good week 1 playing week 2. Even that you can sometimes get into the woods if you try to chase points, but starting those guys in week 1, in my opinion, unless if your team is just awful or you don't know what you're doing, like you got to play the guys that have the highest expectation of points. Like even if they don't deliver the points, you have to play the guys that you think will score the most points. And that wasn't going to be like the expectation wasn't that Quentin Johnston was going to catch 2 touchdowns. And props to that guy. He's kind of busting out right now, and we'll see if it continues long term. But I say insane.
Quentin Johnston's looking like Calvin Johnson now they learn how to catch the football.
I would like to say he had 1 target for 1 catch for 60 yards. Let's not act like someone's a genius for that happening in the Chargers game. Like in the Chargers game, I thought he only had 1. Did he have 7? I thought he had. Well, I thought that was his only target in the game. Or did he have more? Or is his only catch?
It might be his only
Like
catch.
the most recent game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought he didn't catch one of any balls. Did he catch multiple? For some reason, I thought.
Targets. I don't know how many.
I may have misread my info, but the only one out of that I wouldn't say is insane is Javonte, because he was clearly going to be the starter, and you never know what's going to happen at the beginning of the year. If you know a guy has the starting role, it's just like, who knows what could happen. In my opinion, it's just so that one I wouldn't say is insane, especially at the value. You could get him to dirt cheap in any draft. So if you're just going to throw him in as a starting running back, like that one, I would say not insane, especially let's say you faded running back and you picked him up late, and then you're stacked with wide receivers, and then you put Javonte in your running back spot. That could make sense in theory, where you're like you made it as a strategy. But if you're intentionally like I believe in Juwan Johnson and QJ, it's like that's a little insane.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I'm on record saying that the Dallas Cowboys don't have a running game this year, and then Javonte came out and scored 2 touchdowns week 1. So they're a little bit of humble pie is the podcast expert over here. I don't know. Again, I don't know shit.
Keep listening.
All right, yeah, but always keep listening for hot takes. We're gonna stay in the fantasy football realm here, guys, but we're gonna move forward here, and we're gonna bring back something that we did week 1, starter sit, and this is something where you guys Zach especially kind of contributed to some of the choices we gave week 1. But I brought some up this week, and I thought they might be kind of fun. If you guys look through these or hear these, you'll understand why I think it's kind of fun or funny if you ask. But for you too, starter sit. Who are you starting or sitting this week? Juwan Jennings or Kayshawn Boutte?
Jennings.
And for those listening, the reason this is funny is these are 2 players on my flex spots on my team. So, and they know that. All right, how about this one? Tony Pollard or Kenneth Walker?
Pollard.
That one's for me. That's Pollard. Oh no, I'm saying because they're on my team, their main league, but no, Pollard. They're still splitting this carries like half and half in Seattle. You can't it's like a coin flip of who might get the big carry or the big touchdown. So it's not reliable. I think Pollard's getting by far the majority of the snaps. So just from a statistics standpoint, give it to Pollard, and hopefully you can get some garbage touchdowns or something.
Especially while Tyjae Spears is out. I mean, Pollard is just a safe, load-heavy running back right now, so I agree. Another one for you, Jordan. Jalen Warren or Jalen Waddle?
Ooh. Oh, man. Warren right now. Warren's catching the ball. He's had some decent runs. Gainwell's getting some, but he's still the lead back there, and Waddle and the Dolphins are still woeful at this point, so
I'm going Waddle.
Hey. I think I'm going to go Warren as well. I think he's only solidifying himself as the starter there, and he's made some plays. I don't think he got in the end zone, but he made some pretty big plays this week, so that builds some faith with the team.
My rationale, for the record, is that Buffalo is going to kill them so bad, and Miami is going to be throwing the ball all game long.
Some garbage points.
And Waddle's going to get some garbage points. That's my only rationale.
Check downs to Devon, please. All right, Zachy, this one's for you. Ashton Genty or Hollywood Brown?
I'm going to go back to Genty. Yeah, I mean.
Starting Genty, all right.
Yeah.
Think he's going to find the end zone this week? Follow-up question.
I hope so.
Let's talk about there. I don't want to derail too much, but let's talk about him. Because if you watched the game last night, that dude fought for his life to get like 2 yards. But he was breaking a tackle like on nearly every play. So it's like, he's not the issue, right? Like, surely he's not the issue if he's breaking tackles, but still only getting like 2 yards. But
yeah,
does that give you hope or does that give you concern?
I don't know. I said like before the season that I was kind of concerned about him because of the situation. I didn't believe in like the Raiders and like the offensive line that they could put in front of him. I have hope. I think he's still super talented, and I think Pete Carroll, people knock him, but I think he'll find ways to get him involved if it's not just running it straight into a pile of guys. Like, I think they'll find ways of getting him the ball, maybe with some open space. But yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna be fine. I hope.
I think he's gonna be fine. I think he's gonna be good. I just don't think that he is in the Saquon, Derrick Henry, Adrian Peterson. Like just from the eye test to me, like I think he's a good running back, and I think he will have success. And they took him 6th overall, so he's gonna get his chances, and he's gonna get his touches. He's gonna get his touchdowns. Even Bijan Gibbs, I think they just look like the eye test. I think that they look. I mean, better, but their offensive lines are better. Their teams are better right now. The offense, but the eye test for me, and also I might just be a hater, but I wish I could see Janty do a full college football season playing SEC and Big Ten teams and not Mountain West teams. It's just hard for me to separate that with all of his records that he broke. He did it, and nothing taken away there, but I wish I could have seen that in college. And then now maybe I'm just a hater 2 weeks in. I don't know.
Well, he didn't beat, but he played hard against Oregon. But yeah, that's our small sample size there. Yeah. Guys, I'm gonna give you one more, and this one is not any of our teams. Marion Hampton in a flex or Keon Coleman.
Easy for me. Hampton. I think Coleman had like a boom week, but I think this past week he did not. For week 1 he boomed, and this week he didn't really. Well, they were also blowing them out, right?
Yeah.
So
like Hampton didn't do anything this last week.
Hampton
I have him on.
That's true.
Not in our league, but I have him.
Hampton had like 24 yards and a fumble. So
It's true.
I don't know. I honestly, if I have other options, I'm not starting either one of them. If I'm being completely honest. But
I'm a Keon Coleman believer, but I will say, and the Bills have always been this way. If they get a couple of James Cook's touchdowns, there's no passing the ball. Like it's just running throughout the rest of the game. And so if you're a Josh Allen owner, if you're a Keon Coleman owner or Dalton Kincaid owner, like those are concerning things. When the Bills go up early, they're not going to be throwing the football. So, and they're playing Miami this week. I think they're probably going to go up early. Yeah. Okay. Any final thoughts on the starter sit? I do have a plenty of content here tonight. So
good.
All right. Well, Jordan, I'm going to hand this over to you actually, because there's something you prepared for us. And
yes, sir.
Tell us all about Guess the Lions, because this is something I think you've seen elsewhere, and it's not something that I've done, but I'm excited for it. So tell me about it, and we'll dive in.
I think it's fun. It's on one of the other podcasts that I listen to. They kind of do it where they each week before the week starts, they kind of guess what the opening lines are on, I guess, Tuesday morning ish or something. So I've just compiled all of the week 3 matchups here, and I'm gonna have you guys play off against each other and see who can win the most matchups and who can get closest to who the favorite is, and then what their line is to win the game. So
from DraftKings, ESPN.
Sorry. Yeah, so this is going to be, I pulled this, this is what, Tuesday the 16th of September around midday from ESPN, their line. So it might change leading up to the games, but that's what we have. So to kick it off, Thursday night, we've got a banger, Dolphins at Bills. Okay. I'll try to throw it who's first here. So you guys kind of wrote these down ahead of time, yeah? Okay, let's go with Scott first. Scott, what do you think? Who's the favorite? And then also, what do you think the line is?
The Bills are at home. They're definitely the favorite. And I feel like NFL spreads are never crazy like college. So this is kind of a big one in my opinion. I would say -6.5.
Okay, Zachy?
So I had this as the biggest spread difference in all the games that I marked, and I had them at Buffalo -8.5.
All right, Zachy gets it. It's -12.5.
Holy shit. Okay.
Dang.
Dolphins are terrible.
I mean, the Dolphins.
So when
And the crazy thing about that is I could still see betting on the Bills even with that spread.
I mean, honestly, for real.
They got to win by 13 in order for it to cash. That is rough. There's a lot of them here, so I'll move through them pretty quickly here. But Bengals at Vikings. Zach, why don't you lead this one off?
I had Vikings -1.5.
I actually had Bengals as the favorites here, even on the road. I got them -2.5.
The Bengals with the favorite, though the Vikings, even with Burrow out, huh? Interesting.
Well, there's also no JJ, although I don't know if that's a bad thing.
Okay. It has Vikings -5.5.
Wow. Really?
-5.5. So that would be that would be obviously Zachy because
I might be betting Bengals on that one, boys.
Yeah.
5.5.
Put your money where your mouth is.
There's a couple of backup QBs, and one of those teams is loaded with offense, although the other team isn't bad on offense either.
Absolutely. Okay, next one's going to be Steelers at Patriots. Go ahead, I guess Zach or Scotty this time.
Mine was Steelers on the road. I'm not very confident in this because I'm actually a big Pats believer. but I think the Steelers will be the favorite, and I had them just as a slim margin minus 1.5.
Okay, Zachy.
So I also had Steelers on this one, but I had minus 2.5.
Scotty gets it. Patriots minus 1.5 at home.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So Scotty gets that one. Scotty's on the board. Scotty is on the board here.
Love it.
Next one, we got Colts at Titans. Zachy.
I had Colts minus 3.5 on the road.
I had Colts minus 6.5.
Zachy gets it on the dot. Colts minus 3.5.
Nice. All right. Okay.
I don't know. I don't think you win any prizes, but that's pretty impressive. Good job. And the next one's Texans at Jags. Scotty.
I got Texans minus 2.5.
I had
Okay.
Jags minus 1.5.
Zachy gets it again. Jags minus 1.5 is on the dot. Zachy, are you sure you didn't cheat? Are you sure you didn't cheat?
Where do you see? I wouldn't do that.
Let's go, Jags. Let's go, Jags. All right, next one's Falcons at Panthers. Zachy.
I had Falcons minus 3.5.
I had Falcons minus 2.
I think Zachy's cheating. It's Falcons minus 3.5. So I don't know what that is. Zachy's that's 3 in a row that are exacts.
I promise you I did not.
All right. Hey, cool. I'm glad I'm on the board at least.
Yes, yeah, Jack's up 5-1 right now in the matchup. So, next one's Rams at Eagles. What a good game. I mean, that's going to be a banger of a game. Scotty.
I got Eagles minus 5.5.
Okay, Zachy.
I have to find where I wrote it down. I'm sorry. I had Philly minus 2.5.
Okay, so Zachy gets it, but it's Philly minus 3.5.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay. I'm bad at this.
It's all right. It's meant to be just like a fun thing. It's like, yeah. So we'll see. Next one, Jets at Bucks. Zachy.
I had Tampa Bay minus 5.5.
I had the
Okay,
exact
Scotty?
same thing.
So we call it a tie. It's Bucks minus 6.5.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry. I don't want to be lame, but that's what I wrote down.
Next one, Packers at Browns. Zachy.
I had Green Bay. Let me see. I don't see where, actually, I can't see where I have it wrote down here, but I know I had Green Bay. I don't know. Green Bay minus 4.5.
I had
Hey, Scotty?
7.5 for Green Bay.
Scotty gets it on the dot.
Nice.
Let's go.
Packers minus 7.5 is what we get out here.
Let's go.
Next one, Broncos at Chargers. Zachy.
Let's see. I had Chargers minus 1.5.
I think this is too steep, but they've got all the momentum, and sometimes that carries you. So I had them minus 5.5.
The Chargers minus 5.5?
Yep.
Okay, it was minus 2.5. So what was Zachy? What did you get? Minus 1.5?
Yeah. I
Just
just
like
like
decent.
man, but you know.
I don't know. The Broncos looked a little bit better, but the Chargers looked nice. I think the Chargers looked really nice.
I think the Chargers win that game. I'll probably make that bet if it's only 2.5.
Minus 2.5 to the Chargers. Saints at Seahawks. Scotty.
I got Seahawks. This is actually crazy. I don't know why I bet it this low, but I got 3.5, minus 3.5 for Seahawks.
Okay.
I had
Zachy?
3.5 actually, exactly as well.
Oh, it's a tie. Minus 7.5.
See, I knew it was low. I don't know why.
People hate the Saints, man. The Saints are
I knew that shit was low. I should have just raised my number on the spot.
love it. All right, next one. Cardinals at 49ers. Zachy.
I had Cardinals 1.5.
I have Cardinals minus 2.
It's 49ers minus 1.5. That is with Mac Jones. I was actually shocked at that one, I'll be honest.
Interesting.
Not for sure. I'm betting
49ers minus 1.5. That was Zachy, right? I'm sorry. I was actually surprised looking at that again. I was, what in that world? Next one, Cowboys at Bears. Zachy.
I had Dallas minus 1.5.
I got Dallas minus 5.
Ouch. Zachy's actually right. It's Dallas minus 1.5.
Oh, dang, okay.
I've seen all I need to see to pack it in for the year. Honestly,
Mate, you're probably the one.
hey, we're gonna need to do a recap video of this.
Yep, betting Dallas at one.
Yeah. All right, there's 2 more. We'll get through them. I know it's taking a bit, but Giants at Chiefs, Scotty.
Oh, it's at Chiefs?
Giants at Chiefs.
Okay. That changes things then. Give me Chiefs minus 6.5.
Zachy?
I had Chiefs 5.5.
Scotty gets it on the dot. Chiefs minus 6.5. This is my upset. I can see the Giants winning this game with their pass rush, and I mean at KC's rough, but I'm not saying I'm predicting it, but I'm not saying I'm predicting it. I'm not saying I'm predicting, but Chiefs have looked terrible. Like they've looked bad, and the Giants pass rush is supposed to be one of the best front four in the league. Like I don't know. Well, I'm not predicting it. I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if it's Mahomes running for his life like it's the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Abdul Carter, my man. Abdul
Carter. All right, last one. What a banger. Monday Night Football. Lions at Ravens. Zachy.
Ravens 2.5.
Get your popcorn ready. Ravens minus 2.
Ravens minus 5.5.
Oh shit. Okay.
I give me the Lions against the with the points. Like I'm sorry. I'm excited in what the numbers. What was who won that one? Who won that one?
Zachy did.
Zach won it.
He spoke.
All right.
I only won 2.
Yeah.
We tied a couple times.
You got 3 of them totals. You got 3 of them. You got 3 of them. You got 3. But Zachy needs to start betting. Betting some stuff.
Hey, listen. This is why I don't set the lines. I just bet them.
Hey, but you're ahead, Sky. So maybe you know something that these lines makers don't know.
Well, you know what? I'm 5-3 on the spreads, and I'm undefeated on money lines this year. So.
Yeah, I feel like when you hear that, you would know your own reaction. You know what you want to bet. After hearing those, it's like,
well, yeah, it's actually nice to do it this way because if the odds are actually in your favor, then you're like, oh, well, I'm definitely betting that.
Mm-hmm. Even the Cardinals 49ers, the 49ers minus 1.5. Give me the Cardinals. I feel like minus 1. It's just, I guess 1.5 is kind of ticky tack. So it's like, but
yeah, very clear. That's why I clarified. Is this what I think the line should be, or what I think they will put the line at? Yes, I have opinions, but I was just going on what I thought they would put the line at.
Well, you are now our resident odds maker, so congratulations.
Oh man,
we are gonna move into something that I haven't told you guys about.
Okay.
Very excited to share. This is a segment that's been done before. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna put you guys on the spot here, okay?
Okay.
1 second.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Boom. We're gonna do 4-round draft.
All right.
And I asked you guys for top 5 through 2 weeks of football here.
Oh, through 2 weeks. Okay.
Whatever the wheel lands on, you're gonna have to give me the top 5 for that statistic. So this is what we call the stat wheel.
Okay.
Jordan, you're gonna go first, and your stat is going to be rushing yards.
Okay. You are gonna be probably telling me 5-8 yards. Okay, top 5 so far.
Yes.
Okay, rushing yards. Okay, so I'm gonna go Derrick Henry.
He's number 3. Good.
Okay, rushing yards. I'm gonna go with Bijan.
Number 5.
I'm gonna go with. Ooh, I don't think it's Saquon. Maybe Gibbs.
Not Gibbs.
Not Gibbs. Javonte Williams.
No, not for
because he's got touchdowns. A wild one because I know he's done a lot of it, but it can't be Patrick Mahomes, right?
No, it's not Patrick.
Because he's rushed a lot.
I want you to think about a conversation you and I have had about a guy that I say only scores touchdowns.
Oh, James Cook. Yeah, I should have
Cook
known.
is
James Cook, and who's running wild? Christian McCaffrey.
Hold on, Zachy wants you to phone a friend.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Zachy.
I think I got one of them at least. Jonathan Taylor for sure.
Oh,
he's number
1.
And my God, please get number 2, Jordan.
Travis Etienne.
Etienne.
I'm sorry. As soon as it's out of your mind.
Expected, but yeah, Travis Etienne is number 2. So in order, JT 236, Etienne 214, Derrick Henry 192, James Cook 176, and Bijan 167 through 2 weeks. All right.
Mahomes has 126.
I knew he had a lot too.
He does so much.
Yeah.
All right, so we have removed rushing yards as a category, and we're spinning the wheel for you, Zach. So whatever this lands on, you're going to give me the top 5. And you might get off the hook a little bit here. I think I'll confirm. Basiki Tutsu. Well, I think you're off the hook for a reason. I think there's only 4.
Okay.
Because there's 4 people tied for the same number. So you're on the clock now.
Johnston has 3.
Yes, he does. And there's 3 other people with E.
Luka.
Yep.
I know one for sure.
Amon-Ra.
Yeah, he scored all 3 in week 2. Yep.
I know. Who's Jaden Daniels' best friend?
Oh, Zach Ertz. Yeah. Okay.
Or is that
Ertz has 2.
Oh, I thought he had 3. I'm sorry. I thought he had 3.
Zach, you think really close to home.
Oh yeah.
Romo Dunze has 3.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. All right.
There's one more? Is that 4?
There's 4 that had 3, and there's like 3 or 4 that had 2. So I only did top 4 for that one.
Gotcha. No, that's
Gonna share the wheel again, Jordan. So again, 2 rounds each for removing the stat after one gets pulled. So Jordan,
I love this. This is fun.
it's your wheel. It is fun, right?
Mhm.
And you're gonna get passing touchdowns. This will be a fun one. All right. So Sapu, screen. Who are the top 5 quarterbacks for passing touchdowns in 2 weeks?
I'm gonna go Goff.
Goff is tied for first.
I'll go Daniel Jones. Oh,
No,
maybe not.
actually.
Because he has some rushing touchdowns. Okay. Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is tied for third, which yes, he's on the list. I'll just tell you that there's people with 6 and people with 5. He's in the 5 category.
Okay. Justin Herbert.
Herbert's tied for third, with 5.
It's the last category helps me out. So Baker Mayfield.
Mayfield has 5. Yep. You're missing one guy with 6.
One guy with 6. One guy with 6. I think it's just a brain. It's just a brain fart. I think one guy with 6.
This one is one of the front runners for MVP.
Oh, is it? It's gotta be Lamar or it's gonna be Lamar.
Lamar and Goff are tied with 6, and then it's Herbert, Mayfield, and Rodgers with 5.
I lose track of both, like Josh Allen and Lamar, because I lose track of how many passing touchdowns they have and how many rushing touchdowns they have. So I kind of lose track of which is which.
Same, and honestly, Josh's passing touchdown stats or passing stats in general kind of suck because week 2 was a down week.
Lamar has 6 passing touchdowns already.
MVP.
It's kind of insane. Yep. All right, Zach, you get the last category here, and that is going to be rushing touchdowns. It looks like. I think you're going to luck out with a 4. 5.
So
Okay. Javonte?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I'm going to give you a hint. This is going to be a little bit of a tricky category for you.
Okay.
Touchdowns. Javonte.
I know one of them. I think. I'll let Zachy go for a bit though.
Does Gibbs have 3?
He does not. Not rushing anyway.
Not rushing. Okay. Man, this is tough.
This is probably the hardest one out of all of them, in my opinion.
Etienne doesn't have 3, does he?
He does not. I actually don't know if he has any rushing.
Justin Fields? No, he only. No. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has 3.
Danny Dimes has. Yep.
That's the one I thought of.
James Cook.
James Cook has 3.
Okay, that was the other one.
Derrick Henry. No.
2, and they were both in week 1.
Jordan. Got anything?
I was gonna guess Mahomes because I think he's got at least 2. But
Home.
I think he's got 2.
Track there.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts has 2.
I didn't think he got 3 yet, but I should have known.
No passing touchdowns, but he has 3 rushing touchdowns. Yep. All right. Anyway, yeah. So hey, that's the stat we want. That's always it's always Brooklyn, and that leads us into the halftime pour, my friends. I know we've been sipping all night, but we have a new format this year, and I'm not going to really be talking about mine because it's already been featured on the podcast. So what I'm going to have you guys do, and one at a time, is what are you drinking? What is the proof? Where is it from? What are the tasting and smelling notes? If you know it, maybe what is like the average, like what's the retail price you paid for it? If you don't know it, that's fine. And then a scale of 1 to 100 rating on it. And Zach, you can go first.
Alrighty, so I am drinking a Four Roses barrel strength single barrel pick. This comes from Four Roses Distillery in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. This one particularly is 118.2 proof. Average price on these guys is around $100. They're not super available out in the world, but they're starting to become more available again. If you find one, I highly recommend a pick. If possible, $100 for a bottle is expensive, but very, very good. Tasting notes, sweet and floral. It's got a nice Kentucky hug. I would say it's solid 92 or 93 out of 100. Like very, very good.
Wow.
Nice. Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank
Damn.
Jordy. What do you got going on there?
I've got a goodie. I've got Stag Junior. That's what this is. Sorry, I can't see it very well here. I'm putting it in front of my shirt. Stag Junior. This is kids. This one is batch 11. Came out in 2018. We have a proof of 127.9. Nice and hot. This is Buffalo Trace juice. I really like this batch compared to everything else I have. It's super oily, which I really like in a whiskey. So this is definitely not a beginner's bourbon. If you like high proof hot juice, this is definitely for you. I bought this way back from a local liquor store here in St. Louis back in 2018, and I just sat on it for a long time until I finally opened it. It was like $80 when I bought it. And then now it's probably 200 plus, I would imagine, secondary or something like that. It's more and more people are trying to collect different batches of them. As far as tasting notes, again, they're just like lots of heat, huge caramel, really sweet. So that's one thing I love about the barrel proof stuff is oftentimes they bring a lot of the sugars and the intensity of flavor. So super oily. The finish is insanely long and a little bit perfumey, but mostly just deep, rich, sweet, like typical bourbon notes, just on steroids, caramel, toffee type of stuff, and it's super oily, which I like.
Well, yeah.
Oh, score. Yeah. Zachy's score threw me off because I was not expecting that. That's a high score.
I probably went pretty high.
I just, in my eyes, anything above like 90, anything above 90, I probably have like very few that are above 90, but I was going to say 87 for me. Like it's a really high score. Probably one of my favorites that I currently have. It's not going to last long because I tend to go back to the stuff I really like than just, other stuff, but
I'm gonna modify. If he's saying 87, then I just got overexcited because I've had that bottle as well, and so I would have to say this like an 85 then because that bottle.
it's a great score. That's it. It's a great score. I feel like anything above 90 to me, everyone has their own scale. Anything above 90 to me is like that's approaching like the creme de la creme into some of my favorite whiskey I've ever had. Like anywhere that's north of 90, because I feel like you save 100 for like the perfect whiskey. But
I will say from my own experience, I think Dave and I both kind of overrate sometimes as well. So we kind of rate similarly to how you did, Zach. And I think the Jordan strategy leaves room for true ratings. And there's really no wrong way to do it. It's just how it tastes in the moment when you're sipping it. So, yeah, no
Agreed.
such thing as a wrong score. But I do have a question for you guys. While we're sipping, and also cheers, gentlemen. I'm drinking a Rabbit Hole, and this is something I've had on here before, so I won't belabor this. But it's the Cave Hill bourbon, very tasty. This it's a little bit lower. It's only 95 proof, but it's delicious. So we'll cheers to that. And then I got a question for you guys, and it is after the first 2 weeks of NFL football, what is your hottest take for the rest of the year? Jordan, you can go first.
Hottest take for the rest of the year. Man, I kind of want to go against the grain. I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think the Chiefs will still have the wild card the AFC. They're going to make at least the wild card. I don't think they're going to get the divisions because it's stacked, but I'm confident that the Chiefs. I think Rashee Rice is going to eat when he gets back, and I think the Chiefs will turn it around to a certain extent. Their defense is still good, but maybe not as great as it once was. But I think the Chiefs are going to hold on even after starting 0-2, and they're still going to grab one of the wild card spots to make the playoffs.
Okay, Zachy, what do you think?
I'm going to poop on Jordan because that is not a hot take. That is the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs, and I think that's a normal take in my.
I'll take it.
The Indianapolis Colts are not going to make the playoffs. That is a hot take.
Ooh, that is a hot
That is a hot take.
After 2 weeks, that's a hot take. That was not a hot take 2 weeks ago, but that's a hot take now.
Oof! I need to have a spicier take now. I can't think of one. If I think of one, I'll come up with one because I do feel like I needed to go spicier than that. Since Zach's is way spicier than mine.
I think my hot take, and maybe it's not that hot at this point, but I think I initially said Cam Ward wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, and I think Tat McMillan does now.
Ooh.
He had a huge week this week, even though he didn't. His team didn't win. He just looks like the real deal, and if he only gets better, look out.
Okay. Here's my hot take. You ready? The Bears make the playoffs.
I hate you.
He wanted a spicy take. He wanted a hot take.
Just at my expense. Come on now.
All right, we're gonna move forward. Community call-outs. We always call out a couple of comments that we get on social media each week. We call it kind of fan of the week and hater of the week, depending on if they agree or disagree with us. So I called out Georgia Bulldogs in a TikTok post, and we had Marcelo20 and Westy both respectively saying, "Big dogs keep eating," and "really close game, go dogs." So we appreciate that just engagement. Thank you for commenting on the post, and go dogs for you guys. I appreciate that. And for our hater of the week, we've got Kev Romes on TikTok this week. And Deeb posted some pretty hot way too early reactions after week 1. And Kev Romes let him know freezing cold takes was his stall. Hey, we always say we are down for the banter. So if it's playful, if it's respectful, if it engages, we appreciate it. Even if it
Was there one in particular he was talking about, like a first particular one that he was mentioning?
They didn't call it out, but I would have to think it had to be with Danny Dimes. Deeb said Danny Dimes would be trash, and he just kind of came out and balled 2 weeks in a row. To his credit, Deeb was kind of right on the others. Deeb said that Justin Herbert might be that he would be a top 3 MVP candidate, and he said that Caleb Williams is still ass, and I think both of those things held up this week.
Jack, we just need to. Well,
dude, I agree. I mean.
And just I did fact check this. After 2 weeks, Justin Herbert is now ranked 4th for MVP voting. So for the betting odds,
that might be low. That might be low.
It could be, but there's always Josh Allen and Lamar in the fold. So
one last thing, and all not joking with Zach anymore. I do think that if Caleb Williams can find a way to play like he played in the first half of was the first half of week 1, I think was when they were really looking good. If they can bottle that, and not even that, but a version of that, you just need to avoid the regression, I think, and then have some pop-off weeks. And as he gets more comfortable with the offense, he still is learning the offense, and it's a complicated offense. It's not like you think the guy's an absolute bum, he can't play at all. I don't think that personally.
No, I don't.
I still think there's growing pains, honestly.
Yep. I think he'll be fine with time. He might not be a top 5 quarterback in his career, or he might be. It's really hard to say. But if he can be consistent, like you said, Jordan, then he could be great. He had an amazing start to the season, just didn't finish that game, and week 2 didn't go their way, but they played against a powerhouse Lions team. So,
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's our community call-outs. We're gonna jump into single barrel picks now, and I'm gonna give you guys 4 games for college, and 4 games for pro, and I want you to kind of predict with the spread who you think will win. And so it's not necessarily who wins the game, but who wins the spread. And our first one here, trying to highlight the big games of the weekend. Texas Tech, number 17, is at Utah, number 16. Utah is a 3.5-point favorite. So, Jordan, who do you got in that game?
Give me the Utes. I think the Utes are good.
Okay, and Zachy, what do you got?
Yeah, Utes.
Utes, all right, cool. Number 22, Auburn, who I don't think was ranked last week, so they're making their way downtown. going to Oklahoma, playing a team that I think is still underrated, even at number 11. Oklahoma is a 6.5-point favorite to win this game. Jordan, who you got?
I hate to go chalk, but I'll go Oklahoma even with the points, the -6.5. Give it to me, Oklahoma.
Zachy?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, Sooners.
I think Mateer could be the Heisman this year. I mean, too early to tell, but he
Nussmeier?
legit. Some of these favorites for it, man, I'm not sold on yet.
Beck? I don't know.
Beck is a guy that I discounted Beck coming into the year, but he's looking good. He's looking great on a good team. College game day this week. Florida is at Miami. Miami number 4. Florida unranked now. Miami 7.5-point favorites. Who do you guys got?
I just mentioned how Beck, they've been on a heater. It's hard to bet against Miami, I think, even with the points.
Same.
Yep. Miami?
Yeah.
All right. And
Yep.
well, we're calling the SBS game of the week. Number 9, Illinois goes on the road to number 19, Indiana. And Indiana is actually the favorite, 5.5-point favorites. Who do you guys got? Jordan first.
Really? That's surprising. I'm going to give Indiana because Illinois is just terrible. I think they're overrated. They're just nobody really likes them, so we're going to go with Indiana.
Okay.
I mean, you already know. So Illinois is not going to take the points. Illinois is winning this game, boys. So they're going on the road. They're taking the dub. If you're giving me 5.5 points, I'm absolutely taking that. So
yeah, you're money lining all over that, huh?
I mean, I have to. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. No, I do, and I'm with you. Give me Illinois as well. I'm going to switch gears. We're going to go NFL here, and I'm doing this right off the cuff. So if you see me looking at my phone, it's because I didn't want to ruin our segment earlier when we get the lines. So first game I'm going to throw at you guys, and Zach, you're going to go first on NFL games here.
Okay.
We got Rams on the road at Eagles. Eagles are 3.5-point favorites right now. Who do you got?
Eagles 3.5.
Jordan?
Zach, give me the Rams just because I think that their defense could possibly, maybe try and slow down the Eagles like rushing attack in the offensive line. Maybe.
What, you think Jalen Hurts will have to throw the ball for the first time this year?
I'm hoping so. I'll play AJ Brown. God dang it.
All right, this is a big one. Probably one of the games I'm most excited about this week. Broncos are on the road playing against the Chargers. Chargers 2.5-point favorites. Zachy, who you got?
I mean, I feel like I just keep picking the favorite other than Illinois, but yeah, I'm going Chargers. Give me the 2.5.
Okay, Jordan?
Chargers look good. The Broncos were shaky week 1. The Chargers have just been looking good. I say keep it rolling. Chargers.
Okay, we'll keep it rolling. I'm going to give you one that we talked about earlier, and I think this could go either way. Bengals on the road at the Vikings. The Vikings are the 3.5-point favorites here. Zach, who you got?
3.5-point favorites. I have them closer than that. I think this game I think there's a toss up. We got backup quarterbacks playing. I'm gonna go Vikings, but yeah, I'll take 3.5. I guess. Yeah.
Okay, and Jordan, what do you got?
I think that the line earlier may have been before JJ was officially marked out, I think. So I think it moved, took a little bit closer. I actually didn't realize that. I've been working today. I didn't realize that he was officially out, that McCarthy was. So given all that, give me the Bengals.
Okay, so you got Bengals plus 3.5 then.
Yep.
And this is our game of the week, Monday Night Football. Lions on the road against the Ravens. And the line right now is Ravens are -4.5. So, Zachy, who do you got in that game?
I'll take Lions. I'll take the Lions.
I'm with you. I'm with you, especially with the points. I mean, the Lions can score with anybody, even if it's a shootout. I think they can win a shootout against Lamar. I do.
If not, you think they're at least going to make it a field goal game then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hell yeah.
Sure.
Well, good. That's our single barrel picks, boys. We'll see how that goes. And as a shout out, if you guys are watching this podcast and you're still hanging with us an hour and a half-ish in, we do post weekend parlay bets on the Twitter page. And if you followed along so far, we've hit 3 of our 4. And if you know, parlays pay out a lot more than you bet. We did lose a 4-leg long shot touchdown parlay this past weekend, but we're 3-0 on our money line parlays. If you bet $50 on all of them so far, you'd be up $303. So let's hope we keep that momentum going. You're not going to win them all, but let's win some this weekend, and feel free to tail with us and let us know that you did. And with that, boys, we have the 2-minute warning, and you guys are no strangers to the 2-minute warning. You know it's going to be rapid fire questions. All right, 2-minute warning, and Jordan, you're first. Would you rather be stuck in a sauna with Conor McGregor or take a yoga class led by Aaron Rodgers on mushrooms?
Yoga with Aaron Rodgers. Let's do it. It's a blast.
Yeah, I would agree. Zach, would you rather officiate a youth soccer game with 100 screaming parents or fight a kangaroo while wearing a Steph Curry jersey in Australia?
Dude, give me the kangaroo. Let's go, dog.
There we go. Jordan, would you rather do a floor routine in front of Simone Biles while wearing Crocs or be the goalie for a penalty shot from a toddler with laser eyes?
Oh my God. That's actually kind of hard. I guess I'll do the floor routine with Crocs.
You won't die.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Zach, would you rather lose a 1v1 to your grandma in pickleball on ESPN or beat LeBron in horse, but you're never allowed to tell anybody about it?
Dude, LeBron and horse. That's fine, dude.
That's a big secret to keep.
Why does Zach have so much aura?
Jordan, would you rather sit ringside at a UFC fight or sit in the nosebleeds of a regular season football game?
Oh, UFC ringside. Would have to. For sure.
The energy, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Zach, would you rather be on a reality TV show with Tom Brady's exes or live in a tent outside of Lambeau Field but have free tickets to every game?
Oh, man. I mean, Lambo, so sorry about that. But Tom Brady's exes.
They're all right looking. Jordan, would you rather block for Patrick Mahomes wearing roller skates or try to catch a pass from Josh Allen wearing oven mitts?
I'll do the blocking for Patrick Mahomes because I'd probably look just as good as everyone is right now.
Okay. And that is the 2-minute warning. It goes quick. So hour two, the last call, boys. It's where we just kind of say any final thoughts we have about the podcast or about sports. So Jordan, I'll let you go first, man. Any final thoughts?
Nothing too crazy. I appreciate you having me on. I'm loving football season. I was gonna do an impromptu to you, Scott. What if we each picked a leg of a parlay and see what happens in terms of football this week, and we could each pick a leg and see maybe what happens. As an idea.
You want to do it on the spot right now, or do you want to?
I had one in mind, so I can go first, so you guys can think a little bit longer. But I was gonna do an easy one, which is like a Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown, would be my leg.
Oh, okay.
The Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown. I feel like there's definitely gonna be odds on that. I feel like that's decent. He's been rolling game after game, so that was gonna be my leg of the parlay.
Okay. So are you want to do player props then, or is just anything goes?
Anything goes. If you feel something in your bones, why not?
I like it.
So I think that Buffalo is going to destroy Miami, and I think that James Cook will score a touchdown during the destruction. So I'll stick with the kind of player prop touchdown bet, and I'm going to
looks like a touchdown. Sure.
Cook gets in the end zone.
Okay, well then we're definitely gonna do an anytime touchdown prop bet, and I am going to choose. You guys want me to anchor this? James Cook is kind of an anchor. So do you want me to anchor this, or do you want me to be a little risky?
I mean, whatever you're feeling. Who do you believe in?
Ooh, there's so many different directions we could take this. You know what? This is not a horrible bet, but also not an amazing one, but probably good. I'm gonna go with Gibbs. We'll do a Gibbs anytime touchdown.
Okay.
Probably happens. He's a receiver and a runner. The only thing is if you get on that 1-2 yard line, then David Montgomery suddenly becomes an issue.
That's true.
Oh, James Conner, though, was calling my name. But no, I'm going to stick with what I said. So there it is. You guys heard it here live. We came up with it all in the podcast. Josh Jacobs, James Cook, and Jamar Gibbs are all scoring touchdowns this weekend. Get your parlays in. Thank us later.
Sorry, that was my last call, but that's all I have.
Love it. Well, I'll put that action in later tonight. Zachy, what is your last call?
Yeah, I don't have any bets for my last call, but I just want to say thanks so much for having me back on here. It's always a great time. I just love getting on here talking football. I appreciate it, and it's been a great season so far. So go Illini, let's go.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thank both of you for coming on here again. And, shout out Deeb. I know he's traveling this week, couldn't be with us, but always good to have some guests on here, and definitely appreciate you guys being available this week. So I wasn't here, just by my lonesome talking about all my thoughts. But yeah, guys, this is the best time of the year right now. And I think it's actually better that football has been a little bit less predictable than what we might hope for, because it really makes it more exciting whenever things happen that you want to have happen, because there's no guarantees. And so if you guys are playing fantasy football or betting or just watching and talking shit with your friends, I hope you guys enjoy that and just really think about how cool it is to be able to have that in our lives. And I say that as someone who's been working a shit ton of hours lately and has been spending time away from the TV with family, and, just things happen in life. And it's really cool to have those moments where we can just sit down and talk about this stuff. So thank you guys for being a part of that tonight. And I hope anyone who's watching this, especially still watching it after all this time, I hope you guys really have a hell of a weekend, and feel free to let us know what your thoughts are on the upcoming games, and we'll chat there. But otherwise, cheers, my friends, and thanks again for coming on.